Receptionist disrespects Keanu Reeves, not knowing he's the hotel owner. Keanu Reeves entered the hotel lobby with a simple, quiet presence. He wasn't looking for attention, just a place to rest after a long journey. He approached the receptionist, who was absorbed in her screen, tapping away at the keyboard. "Excuse me, I have a reservation under Keanu Reeves," he said gently. She didn't immediately look up, her fingers still moving over the keys. After a moment, she finally glanced up, not recognizing him, and responded, "The room's $350 for the night. Pay up front." Keanu didn't react, just calmly placed his card on the counter. The receptionist took it without another word, handing him the key with a flat expression. "Room 208. No special treatment here," she added coldly. Keanu gave a small nod, still not upset, but the interaction left a feeling of indifference hanging in the air. As he walked away toward the elevator, he couldn't help but think about how easily people could become numb to the simple act of kindness. Keanu entered his room and unpacked. It was nothing fancy, just what he needed for a good night's rest. Yet the brief encounter in the lobby lingered in his mind. The receptionist's attitude, her tone, dismissive without reason. He'd been treated poorly before, sure, but it still bothered him when people forgot the importance of showing respect. After a while, he decided to step out for a walk. Returning to the lobby, he saw her again, still at the desk, tapping away. She was distracted, as if lost in her world, not aware of the people around her. This time, instead of walking past, Keanu stopped. He looked at her for a moment, just as she looked up, noticing him. "Excuse me," he said, his voice soft but direct. "I just wanted to say, I hope you have a good rest of the day." She blinked, her eyes wide with confusion. Thank you." Keanu smiled and walked away, not expecting anything. He wasn't angry, just puzzled by how often people forgot the small things that made life more pleasant, the human connection. The receptionist stood there, still processing the exchange. She had been caught off guard. She didn't know why, but there was something about the way Keanu had spoken to her, without any trace of bitterness or sarcasm, that made her feel uncomfortable. After he left, she quickly Googled his name, still not believing it. The images on her screen made her heart sink. Keanu Reeves, the actor, the owner of the hotel. Her face went pale. She replayed the earlier interaction in her mind, the way she had treated him, the coldness in her tone. She felt an immediate wave of regret. But it wasn't just about him being famous. It was about her attitude toward people in general, how she had allowed her own frustration to dictate her behavior. Her mind was racing. "How do I fix this?" she thought. There was no way to undo the interaction, but she knew she couldn't just leave it there. She had to acknowledge her mistake. A few minutes later, the manager approached her. "You all right?" he asked, noticing her tense posture. I messed up," she admitted. "I didn't know who he was, and I treated him like just another guest." Her voice was quieter now, tinged with guilt. "What do I do?" The manager paused, a knowing look in his eyes. Keanu isn't one to make a big deal out of it, but this is a good opportunity to learn. The receptionist spent the next hour in a daze, replaying every detail of the exchange in her mind. How quickly she had judged him, how easily she dismissed him as just another guest. But it wasn't just about Keanu. This was a lesson she needed to internalize. When the time came for Keanu to check out, she saw him again. This time, she was ready. Her nerves were still there, but she knew what she had to do. "Mr. Reeves," she started, her voice a little shaky, "I want to apologize for how I treated you earlier. I didn't recognize you, but that's no excuse. I was rude, and I shouldn't have been." Keanu looked up at her, his expression calm but serious. "It's all right," he said softly, his eyes kind. "I'm not upset, but it's good that you're aware. A lot of people don't realize how small actions can affect someone." She nodded, grateful that he wasn't angry, but it didn't make the situation any less uncomfortable. "I should have treated you with respect, regardless of who you were. I wanted to say I'm sorry." Keanu gave a small, understanding smile. "You don't need to apologize. We all have our moments. What matters is that you're aware, and you'll do better next time." Later that day, the receptionist was back at her desk. She thought about Keanu's words. What matters is that you're aware. It wasn't just about the mistake she had made, It was about the realization that treating people with kindness, no matter who they are, was essential. As she helped the next guest, a small smile tugged at the corners of her mouth. This time she truly saw them. Not just another customer, but a person deserving of respect. She didn't know if she'd ever see Keanu again, but the lesson he left her with was clear. It wasn't about fame or status. It was about choosing to treat others well every time. This story reminds us of the power of kindness and respect in everyday interactions. How we treat others, even when no one is watching, says everything about our character. If this message resonated with you, make someone's day better by treating them with dignity and kindness. Share this video to inspire others to do the same, and let's spread a culture of respect, one interaction at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more meaningful stories like this.